Texas had their big visit weekend, didn't really go as planned. It could have gone better had they beat TCU, but there was still plenty of action off the field when it came to recruiting. Most notably, five-star quarterback Arch Manning was in Austin for the TCU game. He's an active recruiter on social media. Every time he @s somebody or mentions another recruit, it's notable. So what did you hear about his time in Austin on the sidelines recruiting for Texas?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I joked with him because over the summer he was on all these visits and he was on his official visit, but it was also him recruiting the class around him, which was something he aimed to do for much of his recruitment. And then Colton Vasek committed to Oklahoma and Anthony Hill committed to Texas A&M. So I did get a joke with Arch several months ago about as much of a great football player you are, it's not translating to the recruiting. But look at us now. Colton Vasek has flipped from Oklahoma to Texas. He was back in Austin for this big game environment. And also Anthony Hill, the five-star linebacker from Denton Ryan, was on campus. Got a lot of FaceTime with not only Steve Sarkisian and the Texas coaching staff, but with Arch Manning. They have grown close in this process. Their families have grown close. Cooper accompanied Arch on this trip. They were also talking up five-star Deuce Robinson, USC commit Jacoby Lane. Those are two of the best pass catchers we've seen all throughout the year at various offseason events and All-American game events. Right now, it looks like, even though that game didn't turn out the way they want, that environment in Austin, having game day there, and people want to play with Arch. People are attracted to playing with the elite-level quarterbacks, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They have a great O-line haul, and they're trying to add a few more playmakers at the skill positions, and I think Arch is putting them in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was there to recruit the #1 linebacker in America, Anthony Hill. As you said, the five-star recently decommitted from Texas A&M. So what are you hearing on his recruitment coming out of this visit to Texas?
Yeah, I think that Texas is in the driver's seat with Anthony Hill at this point. He wasted no time getting to Austin. They have been in his ear even after he committed to Texas A&M. That was a close call between two in-state programs. A&M got the edge, but Texas never took their feet off the gas. He spent a lot of time with Steve Sarkisian, but leading into the game, and I think that always says a lot when the head coach pays attention to not only you, but your mom and your dad and your little brother. And I know that all the reviews coming out of this weekend were very encouraging for Texas. Now, there is some buzz that he might go up to Ohio State for the Michigan game. Texas A&M, according to people that I have spoken with, believes that they will still have a fighting shot when he makes his decision during the early signing period. But from what I've gathered, it feels like Texas is the team to beat. This visit went a long way in kind of cementing some of the thoughts that Anthony had. And Texas' defense still played really well, especially in the front seven. And I think Coach Steve Sarkisian is telling Anthony that he can be an impact freshman, like we talked about with Harold Perkins on that defense.
All right. One prospect that was not there was five-star safety Peyton Bowen. I got just a quick question for you. His lack of presence on the sideline at Texas, does that bode more for his commitment to Notre Dame or just lack of interest in Texas?
It might be a little bit of both. Now, there is a little bit of an X factor. Peyton's little brother, Eli Bowen, a highly sought-after defensive back in the 2024 class, got hurt during their playoff game on Friday night. But I had heard leading into the visit that he was not going to make it to Austin. I know that we've reported on our network elsewhere. I think that there was optimism on the Texas coaching staff that they would get the five-star from Denton Geyer on campus. But Texas has not been in the mix with a lot of these Geyer kids, at least in this 2023 class, from Jackson Arnold, who's committed to OU, right, Ryan Yates, who's committed to LSU, and Peyton Bowen, who's committed out of state to Notre Dame. Peyton Bowen will be in Bedlam this weekend. Right now, it's shaping up that Oklahoma might be the biggest threat to Notre Dame.
Okay. All right. Now, Texas A&M is hanging on by a thread here. The season has not gone the way that most expected it to. That being said, their prized five-star defensive line commitment, David Hicks, visited Oregon over the weekend. What are you hearing there?
Yeah, initially I thought it was, it's a big game out in Eugene, and he's had a great relationship with the previous Oregon staff. He's got a great relationship with his current Oregon staff, including Dan Lanning, the head coach who recruited him at Georgia. He officially visited over the summer, and then he committed to Texas A&M in October. It felt like his recruitment was over, but that is not the sense that I'm gathering. I'm not saying that he's going to flip away or back off his commitment to A&M, but I think he is doing his due diligence. I was told it was a really good visit to Oregon over the weekend, and they're trying to dial up their push for David Hicks to bring him out of Katy, Texas. He's going to head to Bedlam this weekend, and Oklahoma, we know, finished second for his commitment a few weeks ago. I think both of those schools could be in the mix as he tries to, finalize whatever plan he makes before the early signing period.
Finalize a plan. Are you insinuating there could be a final decision?
I think that's fair to say. We know that verbal commitments are just that. They're verbal, and they are binding. Sure. And I think that Texas A&M has built up plenty of credibility with David Hicks, and getting his commitment so much earlier than anticipated went a long way. And from talking to people at A&M, there's still a good deal of confidence about where they sit with David Hicks. But he is exploring his other options. I think he wants to feel very confident about whatever school he does. Just, when you're a blue chip recruit like David Hicks and you've been to all these different high level programs around the country, you just want to be very confident in your decision. And I think that's what the family is going through right now.
Yeah. And if A&M can win a couple more games, it would probably make him feel a lot more comfortable with his decision. So we'll keep monitoring this. Another 5-star flip could be on the horizon. Sam Speigleman, thanks for checking in today. We'll see you on Thursday.
Good to see you, Josh.
See ya.
Thank you for watching. Make sure you smash that subscribe button for me, and remember to check out all the videos on the On3 YouTube page.